Good evening, race fans, and welcome here to Stafford, Connecticut for tonight's Stafford 150 here in the Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me tonight in the booth will be Dave Huckleberry. He's also going to be working the controls as our producer. Dave, it's going to be a fun one here tonight. 150 laps around this tight half-mile oval.
I was glad I could find my way to Connecticut. I was trying to figure out which state this was in. Glad I could make it.
This is a cool little track. It's one of those places that's home to a lot of the big grassroots racing events. A lot of the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour visits this track. And here in Elite, this will be the first start outside of our Modified Tour that will be racing here at Stafford. Currently underway here in qualifying. About 30 seconds left, and it's former champion Josh Adams, champion in the Grand National Series, Josh Adams, leading the way in qualifying. He's got Gerald Campbell just alongside him. So a couple former series champions here in Elite, currently your front row in qualifying. But here tonight, we are 2 races remaining in the regular season. We have tonight at Stafford, then we'll wrap it up at Talladega. Why don't we go ahead and take a quick peek at the points here tonight as you see the schedule briefly on your screen there. We're going to take a look at the points. Matt Gruenberg leads the way by, well, almost 70 points over his teammate. That was the rookie points over James Miller. This is your main series
he
points.
He confuses it by him being a rookie.
Yeah, that's right. Gavin Higgins, second. Ty McIntosh, Leighton Norgard, and Josh Adams, the top 5. About 40 points separating first and fifth here. So very, very tight, honestly, amongst that top 5. Jeff Green, Joe Francis, Connor Thompson, James Miller, and Chris Wright, the rest of the top 10 in points. As I do believe qualifying has just wrapped up. We're going to go ahead and take a look at your starting grid this evening.
Well, we got that wonderful SDK glitch where it...
Hossack and company, that's the rest of your points outside the top 10. But your pole sitter here tonight will be Josh Adams with Gerald Campbell to his outside. Chris Wright, JP Phillips in row 2. Jesse Racimus, Leighton Norgard going to make up row 3. Chad Frankenfield, Jeff Green, row 4. With James Miller and Donald Kite, the rest of your top 10. Dave's going to take us through to position number 20.
Number 11, spot 11, Austin Inabnet. And number 12th position is Frank Foti. You can see why I don't do this. 13th, Dave Carpenter. 14th, Dylan Javier. Next row is Caleb Pecumer and Tom Bourne. Then we have Seth Rawls and Matt Hackathorn in row 9. And row 10, Joe Francis and Matt Gruenberg.
Row 11 is where we find second place in points, Gavin Higgins alongside Mitchell Javier. Row 12, Michael Hossack and Connor Thompson. As we work our way on back, Jordan McAvoy, Zach Evans, Sam Boutwell, Jaden Racimus, Neil Rutt, and Randy McAvoy, the top 30. The rest of your field, Mark Rubilas, Tommy Ryan, Ty McIntosh, and Richie Hearn. Doesn't look like Tommy Ryan or Ty McIntosh have taken to the grid here for tonight's race. 150 laps on the docket. Halfway point just at the end of lap 75. We're going to go ahead and quickly make some race picks here. Dave, why don't you go ahead and kick us off? Who's your pick to win here tonight at Stafford?
I'm going to pick Gerald Campbell because Gerald said he has to win to get into the playoffs, so he's going to win tonight.
Definitely a good pick here. I'm going to go deep in the field. Neil Rutt going to get the victory here tonight. He's a modified guy. He knows his way around this racetrack. As we come to the green flag this time, Josh Adams, Gerald Campbell. We are underway here at Stafford racing in Connecticut. A good jump there by Gerald up on the high side. Josh Adams back to the inside of him. Chris Wright going to slide up a bit just behind, nearly into the side of JP Phillips. Phillips, a multi-time winner this season. He picked actually a single-time winner. Picked up the victory at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Numbers by Joe race earlier on this season. Jesse Racimus going to get by Phillips there, works his way up into the 4th spot. Frankenfield back in 6th. Watch for him to be rather aggressive here tonight. Well, you could say that each and every race. Chad Frankenfield knows how to work his way through these races and work his way up to the front here. As you see, Gerald Campbell clears Chris Wright there, right down to the bottom. Campbell to second. Top three going to single file out in the first car. Not on the bottom. Jesse Racima trying to cook that high lane as we jump back to a battle here. Austin and Abnett under fire by Donald Kite. So good side-by-side there. I got to say, as an announcer, I don't like the number on the Donald Kite machine. Kind of hard to see.
Oh!
There he goes. Dave, you know what you're looking for, my friend, as Donald Kite goes around. We're going to stay green, though, as looks like, does he have a cone, or is that his left front fender hanging off?
I can't tell. There's something flopping there, isn't it?
Yeah, that is his left front fender. So, wow. Donald Kite with major issues here. There you go. You can see it. At a racetrack like this, Dave, that's not going to affect him much whatsoever. The only thing that might hurt him is if it pushed in on those wheels and could lead to some excess tire wear. But so far, Donald Kite in the Rubbins racing machine, well, he's got tire rubbins on the left front of that machine. He's going to keep it going. His teammate Josh Adams leads the way out front of Gerald Campbell. And I believe I heard this week, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, the sponsor you see on board right there on the Josh Adams machine, that is Juicy Spider Studios. They are going to be the new series title sponsor next season. So it's going to be the Juicy Spider Studios Truck Series here on the Elite Racing Network.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people don't like saying the word juicy, so that'll be interesting to see who we get announcer-wise.
It's better than moist.
Yeah, moist is, yeah, that's another one.
That'll be a fun one. I think Matthew Weeks and I'll have the call for at least a good chunk of that season before my real world schedule picks back up in late May. So we should be able to get through the A season as Adams, Campbell, Racimus, Frankenfield now up to fourth here, Dave. So Chad on the move. He started back in the sixth spot. Actually, no, he started seventh. So he's up to fourth. And at a racetrack like this, that is actually pretty impressive because you don't have a lot of room to be able to make these moves. And he's got himself up inside the top five and looking for more. And just a quick update as well, as Dave was pointing out to me prior to tonight's race, a bit of color coding on your scoring tower. Drivers in green, such as Josh Adams, means they're currently in a playoff spot. Orange means they're still alive. Red, you're kind of in that spot where you gotta win, and your chances are pretty slim at this point. And those in white, such as Jesse Racima, Chad Frankfield, JP Phillips, they're just here to battle for victories and work their way up through. They are not involved in that playoff picture whatsoever. As you see things kind of single filing out a bit up here at the front, got our eyes on Chad. He's got JP Phillips just behind him. Phillips has James Miller, the Canadian driver, currently up to that sixth spot. He's got Tim Hortons on the hood of that thing. And man, I was outside all day long here up in the great wide north of Canada, and I definitely could have used a double-double from Timmy's to try to warm me up here this afternoon. But nonetheless, James Miller, one of my old rivals, doing a really great job up in that sixth spot. He's got Jeff Green, the 2000 Busch Series champion, just behind him. Jeff going to have a change in teams next season. I believe for trucks and Grand National, he'll be going to Pro Edge and racing with those drivers. And for the Cup Series, he'll be joining my team, Mountain Man Motorsports, for the duration of 2025A. So going to be interesting to see the changes for Jeff. He's been with Do Good basically since he arrived here in the Elite Racing League, and it's time for change for him as we see some battles a little bit further back. Mitch Javier, Frank Fody, and Tom Bourne all together there towards the tail of the top 10 is actually issues there for the 58 of Mitch Javier. He's going to fall back. It was actually Dylan Javier that was in that battle. I always forget there's two Javiers, but he got Javier-o'd right out of the way. There's Dylan Javier up here battling with Chris Wright, the 57 solo entry there. That's one of the Lake Norman drivers. Chris Wright in the Blue Egg Marketing entry. Of course, we'll talk more about Blue Egg a little bit later on, one of our great premier partners here at the Elite Racing League. And if you're looking to come on board as a premier partner, just reach out to Chad Frankenfield or the Elite Racing League Twitter page, X page, whatever page you want to call it now, and he'll hook you up there. And speaking of Chad, he's up to the third spot now. He got clear Jesse Racimas Jesse going to fall back into the clutches here. JP Phillips, James Miller, and Jeff Green. But Chad doing a really nice job. The Little Eagle Racing driver, that, of course, the team owned there by Ryan Schuld, Hunter Smith, and Justin Fortner. Chad, one of their drivers here, and he's doing a nice job. The Kicking the Tires entry, shout out to Seth Eggert and the team over there at Kicking the Tires, Jerry Jordan as well. Those guys do a great job of promoting the motorsports industry, and we're glad to have them as partners here in many of our races at the Elite Racing League. As Dave's got us a good battle here, that's Connor Thompson and Austin Anabnett. Thompson going to clear Anabnett there. They're currently battling quite a ways back, but still a nice battle nonetheless. That and actually, I'm going to stand corrected. That's Gavin Higgins ahead of Austin and Abney. He's got Caleb Pecumer just up the road. So this is 16th, 17th, and 18th altogether. Higgins, of course, entered tonight as the second place driver in points, chasing Matt Gruenberg. And Gruenberg, just for an update here, currently resides in the 14th position, just ahead of Matt Hackathorn and company. You see Gruenberg there, the yellow 17. That's Matt Hackathorn behind him, the yellow 04. So Gruenberg, not necessarily the start he wanted here tonight in the AVPW 17 machine, but nonetheless still on the charge forward. We'll see what he can do as this race goes along. 21 laps in, everything has stayed clean, stayed green, and kept us underway as Gerald Campbell closing the gap up to Josh Adams a little bit here. That's about a second difference between first and second. And one thing to keep in mind, you can see it there, Josh Adams just up the road. He has caught some lap traffic as we ride on board here with the Aggressive Eagle 00 of Gerald Campbell. I see smoke there. We are going to stay under green, but somebody had a bit of an excursion. That was Sam Boutwell that went off the racing surface. He was able to get it gathered and back underway, as you do see Josh Adams on the inside lane just up ahead. He's working his way by a bit of lap traffic there. Josh Adams currently working his way by, that was the 39 machine of Randy McAvoy. So McAvoy going to fall back one lap down on the day. And like we mentioned, Tommy Ryan and Ty McIntosh did not make the call for the grid here this evening. As next up the road, I believe that to be Mark Rabilis. As yes, caution flags out, and yikes.
I think it's Connor Thompson.
Connor Thompson. Let's take a look and see what happened there. Mr. Dave Huckleberry pulled up on the Rabilis photography replay machine. Connor Thompson, I'm going to guess he probably got in a bit too hot into the corner and just sent himself around.
Going to be right, looks like.
And nobody else gets collected, so easy one there. So tally issued to the 30 of Connor Thompson. That is going to be for a solo spin. That'll be his first tally of the afternoon. Of course, with the tally system, that is a 2 tallies, and you park unless you appeal it, which quite often does happen.
Several cars came down pit road, looks like. Gavin Higgins.
Yeah, quite busy there on pit road for sure.
At the top 25, looked like, oh, no, they came in. The top 12 stayed out.
So top 12 staying out. Fresh tires going to be Gerald Campbell in 13th. So that will be that'll be the first driver on new tires. And Dave, we are almost 30 laps in. Why don't we step away real quick, have a quick word from one of our partners, and when we come back, we'll take you through the kind of third of today's race. Not third quarter, that's not math. But we'll be right back on ERN. Don't go anywhere.
All right. And one of our premier sponsors for tonight is the Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels. Accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win.
And we are back underway here at Stafford. You see a bit of wheel spin there for Jeff Green in row number 2, but out front, Josh Adams, Jesse Racimus, they're going to go wheel to wheel through turns number 1 and 2. Adams with the advantage. And Dave, we saw a lot of pit stops there under the caution period. First driver on new tires is going to be Gerald Campbell, back in the 13th position on that restart. He's up to the 12th spot. That is an absolute gaggle of race cars. And I think Chad Frankenfield already about to peak 3 wide as Leighton Norgard goes around. Caution not quite out. Well, it's not going to come out.
Coming out.
Wow.
All right, we're still green.
Wow. As race control, I definitely got to take another look at that one to see what just happened to a Leighton Norgard, because he might have had some help there. We'll see. Caution's out anyway. Wow. So Leighton loses it there. That's what happens right there. And then the caution flag comes out.
When and for what?
I don't have it as anything. Austin and Abnett, Gavin Higgins. Are going to come together. Does Gavin slide up ahead of Austin, or does Austin get loose here? So Austin comes down into the 20. I do believe. So I'll take a look at that one again. So tally's going to be issued there to both a Leighton Norgard and Austin and Abnett. Multiple incidents there, as you see the message from Race Control. Thanks, Dave, for putting that up there for me here, as both drivers going to get their first of the evening.
No new takers down pit lane. Top 9 are still the ones on the old tires, with a few of the ones that came in at lap 25 dispersed in, starting with Gerald Campbell in 10th.
Yeah, Gerald, one of those guys that you're going to see do the weird strategy. And one thing in Elite that a lot of these drivers have figured out is they don't necessarily have to come down more than one time. We're going to get the cautions on the short tracks. It's just going to happen. You can't come in expecting a fully green short track race. That is extremely rare anywhere, but a guy like Josh Adams, you're going to see him probably try to make it to halfway and then come down. It just all depends on his fuel situation. Gerald, one of those guys that did come down, grab a set of tires. And speaking of tires, these drivers here tonight have 4 tire sets available, meaning it's not really going to come into play too much on, do I have a set available, do I not? As lights are off of the pace car, 1 lap to green. Josh Adams, Jesse Racimus on the front row. By the way, this actually kind of sucks for a Leighton Norgard, but he picks up a meatball flag there in that incident. Looks like he has cleared it, though, so he should be able to work his way back out. 1 lap down. As pace car's off, we're going to come back to the green flag this time. Josh Adams on the loud pedal, and we're back underway, but Jesse Racimus launches it out of a cannon here. And he's going to be the driver with the advantage as we head off of turn number 2. Down the back, straight away, door to door, side by side. On the inside, it's Adams. Up top, it's Racimus. Here comes Tom Bourne up to the 3rd spot as well. These drivers having a great battle all throughout the field. Jeff Green on the bottom. That was a deep dive down there for the 11 of Neil Rutt. I mentioned Rutt as a potential contender here tonight. That driver is up 23 spots as Chad in the middle, 3 wide, just about there. He clears Zach Evans and Richie Hearn. I was about to say Richie Evans, but no, that is not Richie Evans. That is Richie Hearn. Up on the high side is Zach Evans as Chad Frankfield battles with Neil Rutt there. Rutt going to fall back. Frankfield up to 6th. You see Gruenberg and Bourne. Gruenberg going to clear Tom Bourne. So Matt up to that 4th spot now, chasing down Jeff Green, Jesse Racimus, and Josh Adams. That is your field. Nearly a third of the way through this one. 41 laps down, 110 laps remaining as Gerald Campbell. He's going to be a driver to fall through the field. Caleb Becumer, Connor Thompson losing spots as well. As kind of surprising with that, honestly, because they have some new tires. It's just not working out for them here. As you see Zach Evans, he's going to clear ahead of JP Phillips, who's now worked his way back up into the top 10. Richie Hearn, Dylan Javier, they're going to be side by side. Javier going to clear ahead of Hearn as he works his way up through the field. A blinking warning issued there to Matt Hackathorn. His quality had fallen in the server, but looks like it's solidified a bit for him. He should be A-okay as we see Zach Evans working the high lane there. Zach is honestly a really cool guy, Dave. Love working with him on Wednesday. Of course, I do the race control Wednesday nights, and you work with him up here in the booth alongside Dave Westergreen. But Zach Evans, you see me fine on the race truck there, and I'm going to call this out. It was another league. It absolutely was. But it's a cool charitable situation nonetheless. Each and every week, Zach Evans makes a donation to Me Fine anytime drivers have a 0x incident race. Ray Bracey came on board and decided that anyone that ran their pet on the car, he was going to donate, I think it was $3 or something like that. And the donation was $57 from Ray Bracey that day. It was matched by so many drivers. Nearly $600 were donated to Me Fine as, well, Chad Frankfield's not fine here as he goes around, cautions out. But nearly a $600 donation to Me Fine by Ray Bracey, Zach Evans and company. So really cool. And check out Me Fine for sure. It's a really cool organization. As we see the replay here of the Chad Frankenfield machine kicking the tires, number 15. He's behind Matt Gruenberg. Something tells me Chad's going to solo spin off the corner.
Doesn't look like he got anybody else involved, which is good.
Solo spin there for Chad Frankenfield. Not too big of an issue. And like you said, Dave, it was just him by himself. So nobody else collected. And definitely good when we see incidents like that at a short track where it just ends up being a one truck spin, nobody else involved. And everything is A-okay. Is Chad going to come to pit road? Richie Hearn there as well. Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit about our series sponsor here in Stay Tuned Sports?
Okay. Pull back up and find it. You caught me off guard.
Sorry, I caught you off guard, Dave. I apologize.
Caught me off guard there. I did not put them in there. Scrolling. Premier sponsors. Nope. That's not it. That's not... Trucks. Stay Tuned Sports. Here it is. Stay Tuned Sports was started in 2016 by two friends, even though hating each other's sports teams, with the purpose of producing a live sports show like no other. They wanted to create a show that would cover all major sports with a little bit of comedy mixed in. Stay Tuned Sports releases weekly episodes covering NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, and even some college football. So if you're looking for some hot takes mixed in with some good ball busting, then this is the show for you. Stay Tuned Sports, your home for sports nonsense.
There we go. Sorry, Dave. Didn't mean to catch you off guard there, but definitely Stay Tuned Sports is one of those really cool podcasts through the Belly Up Sports group over there. Mike and that team do a great job. Of course, our sponsor with the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. Really glad to have them on board and everything that they've been able to do. Thanks to Johnny Thomas for kind of being the bridge between Elite and the entire Belly Up company. Really cool to have them with us here. But a quick run through is we're a third of the way through this race. Josh Adams leads, Jesse Racimus, Matt Gruenberg. That's your top three. As we'll take a run through Jesse Racimus, Matt Gruenberg, Jeff Green up to that fourth spot, still out there on those original tires. Tom Bourne up to fifth. Bourne, a former Elite winner. Sixth, Neil Rutt. Seventh is J.P. Phillips. Dylan Javier back there in the eighth spot. Ninth is Chris Wright. You'll hear him tomorrow night on ERN with some other guy. And Matt Heckthorn in the 10th spot. It's 1 to green. We're coming to the green flag this time. We'll jump back up to Josh Adams and Jesse Racimus leading the way as we come through turns number 3 and 4. Adams bottom, Racimus top. Bottom already looking a little bit better as they work their way to the green flag. We're back underway. Josh Adams leads us into turns number 1 and 2. Here comes Matt Gruenberg down on the inside of Jesse Racimus. As well,
Caution.
that didn't last long. Caution's out.
Is Javier back here?
Oh no. I'm seeing Zach Evans, Randy McAvoy, and Jaden Racimus involved in this one. Oh man.
Jaden Racimus there?
It looked like Jaden Racimus might have been the star of that. Randy McAvoy up top. I think Jaden tries to split 3 in the middle. That might have been a bit too eager for him. Ooh, that's gonna be a tough one. Yeah, that's actually a pretty easy call. That will be a tally on the 1 of Jaden Racimus. That's going to be his first of the day.
The fourth caution for this. And it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 cars who have still not come down pit lane. Josh Adams, Matt Gruenberg, Jesse Racimus, Jeff Green, Tom Bourne, and Neil Rutt have yet to pit.
Yeah, and I don't mind that call. Like I said, they're going to try to make it to the halfway point. If you're Josh Adams and you might lose a couple of spots here by the time you get to the halfway point, if he's still in the top 10, that's a net gain essentially when it comes to the pit stop, because everyone else will already be on the third, maybe even fourth set of tires by the time they come down and work their way to the second set. So they'll have an advantage, especially at the end, should we get a couple more cautions in those closing 20 laps or so. But
and
that's
really,
right now.
Really, each caution is like, what,
bad.
at least 4 to 5 laps, right?
Yeah.
You have at least 12 to 15 laps that aren't really on those times.
That's exactly it. And it sucks to say for especially the guys towards the rear, but we're going to lose a bunch of them by the end of this race with the way that these go, the way the stack up happens. I mean, you see one truck get sideways, that could collect 4, 5, 6 trucks, and all of a sudden they're destroyed. So you could go from a field of 30 plus, which we still have 32 racing, 30 on the lead lap, to 25 in a matter of a corner. And if you got fresh tires, that's going to make it really interesting coming up from the rear as we do come back to the green flag this time. Josh Adams, Matt Gruenberg, Jesse Racimus, Jeff Green, J.P. Phillips, and Tom Bourne. Your front 3 rows as we're back on our way. Josh Adams with another great launch here on the restart. I'm watching for some of these guys coming deeper through the field, trying to work their way up. You're going to see 3 wide as Jeff Green gets a bit sideways there, gathers it back up. Matt Gruenberg trying to get ahead of Jesse Racimus as Tom Bourne battles out with JP Phillips. Bourne on the bottom, Phillips up top. Chad Frankenfield, I saw him in the back. I don't know if you did, Dave. He was all the way down to the inside looking for an opportunity to swing his way by. He gets by the Caleb Pecumer machine, now trying to get by Austin and Nabnitz, so he's diving his way right through the lake of Lake Norman Motorsports. And that team's had a lot of inter-team negative developments lately as the drivers have collected each other on multiple occasions, so they're hoping just for a clean day here today. As you see Tom Bourne side by side with JP Phillips, a good battle there amongst these drivers. Phillips might have the advantage here off of turn number 4, but Bourne down on the bottom. Neil Rutt behind him. Chris Wright behind JP Phillips up on the high side as they head through turns number 1 and 2 once again. When you are stuck behind a side-by-side battle like this, you don't really have anywhere to go. You can try forcing 3 wide, which I think we just saw behind these guys, but it didn't last long for them because some of them were kicking sideways. As Chad all the way on the apron again. That driver is going to be one to watch. Of course, already 1 tally on the day for him. He's got to be careful he doesn't pick up a second because you definitely don't want that. As Chris Wright now to the inside of JP Phillips. Wright going to slide up a little bit in the Blue Egg Marketing machine. Looks like Chris Wright going to clear JP Phillips this time. And back out front, Josh Adams leads. But side-by-side battle through turns number 1 and 2. Mac Roomberg, Jesse Racimus duking it out. Racimus, of course, the defending series champion here in the Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series. And actually, I say defending, but he's not eligible to defend it based off of the rules that we have. That kind of sucks, you know? You win the title, you want to come down and try to do it again, but at the same time, it's kind of the second tier of the elite development ladder, and you don't want these guys coming down to stake up the show each and every week. So I get it. And Jesse, one of those guys that since I started here in Elite has really picked up his game. He's done a great job. Jaden Racimus as well, his son. I got to meet both of them at Pocono earlier this summer. Really cool guys, and glad to see both of them taking that next step in their Elite Racing League careers, as Jesse still has a very, very fast Jeff Green behind him, as Jeff up into that 4th position. Again, the older tires for them. Let's take a look real quick. 2nd place, Matt Gruenberg, is the newest tires at the front of the field. And just want to point out, actually, I was going to say that Chad and Gerald went down pit road, but they did not.
I sure Matt hasn't pitted yet either. My timing score shows the top 5.
Right. You're right, yeah. So what I was actually seeing is 0.57 seconds on pit road, but that actually just means that Matt Gruenberg at one point or another was very low on the racetrack and triggered the timing loops of pit road, but he has not been down pit road whatsoever. So Gerald, I believe Gerald will be the first driver on tires. Oh, Chris Wright. There you go. Yeah, you just said that, didn't you? As he's up into that 5th spot, battling it out with Tom Bourne. And one thing I just saw right there, and we got to point out, a little bit of net code between Chris Wright and Tom Bourne. That is when the servers don't necessarily mesh with these drivers and leads to a bit of contact that wasn't necessarily theirs. That's a gaggle around JP Phillips right there, as he's got multiple drivers trying to get by him. He had Tom Bourne there, Seth Rawls as well, the Rocket Man, Seth Rawls, trying to rocket his way forward, as Chris Wright now to the inside of Jesse Racimus. Your race format, yes, we are quickly coming up on the halfway point. Thank you for the reminder there, Dave. End of lap 75 is when the halfway point will be awarded. And your top 4, they all really, really want that halfway playoff point, because it is a playoff point, which means it's a bit of an advantage when we get those resets for the playoffs. And Matt Gruenberg currently about 0.7 of a second behind Josh Adams, as this is a good battle side by side. Neil Rutt on the bottom, James Miller up on the high side. These drivers, no strangers to each other, as we had one absolutely sideways ahead of them there. That was Chad Frankenfield. As you see Frank Fody working his way through. That's the Bite Size Sports number 41 machine. Gavin Higgins just behind him. I think he just had a kiss with the outside wall. Dave Carpenter right there. Richie Hearn, as well as these drivers trying to work their way up through the field. Jordan McAvoy back there as well. As Chad looking to the inside of Matt Hackathorn. As Hackathorn gets sideways, that was just a bit of a full send off the corner there by Matt Hackathorn. No contact from Chad as you see Joe Francis down to the inside of Hackathorn now. And you're going to see that apron continuing to come into play here. If these drivers need that extra bit of rotation, sometimes dipping it down there, keeping your tires half on the racetrack, half on the apron, that gives you that extra bit of rotation, kicks the rear end out, helps it slide through, especially on the old tires. And speaking of old tires, again, your top 3 on those old tires. Everyone else, for the most part, is on new tires. There's still a couple old tires mixed in there. As we are on the white flag here for the initial segment of the race. We'll stay green though, as Josh Adams works his way through turns number 3 and 4. He's going to work his way off of 4 this time. No flag, but halfway point for Josh Adams. So Josh Adams going to pick up the halfway point.
And Gerald,
good
that could
battle
get fun.
there, yeah.
Oh.
Isn't it always fun when these guys battle it out?
That was anticlimactic.
It's not done yet. You gave Gerald the rear bumper of a Chad Frankville machine. Now it is anticlimactic. As caution's out, Austin and Abnett going to be involved in this one. Based off what I'm seeing as a trigger here, Dave, it does look like a solo spin for Austin and Abnett. But we'll see. There it is. Austin and Abnett.
Yep. Down to the inside, into the grass. Nobody else involved. The garden variety. I think that is, yeah, his second tally. Calling it.
Looks like we might have just had an incident under caution between a Leighton Norgard and Zach Evans, but I bet you that was just entering pit road. These drivers. Yeah, I'm hearing there was a bit of a brake check going on there on pit road. So, oh, yeah. This is one of those incidents, Dave, where there is not going to be any action taken on pit road because it's just everyone stacking up.
Hey, Zach that stayed off Zach.
Yeah, Zach did a good job. Norgard gets into the back of him a little bit. There was contact up the road. Essentially, we could give penalties to just about everyone entering pit road right there. We won't.
I think Zach would say, like, hey, yeah, you should give a penalty to the 2 people who made contact. I didn't make contact.
So just a quick note here. Chad Frankfield, Gavin Higgins, Sam Boutwell going to be your top 3 here. Josh Adams on fresh tires will restart 4th. And we're going to go ahead and step away real quick. When we come back, we'll take you through the beginning part of half number 2 of tonight's Stafford 150 here in Stafford, Connecticut. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
3 years of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge of your seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year. Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers, and we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
And we're back here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Chad Frankfield, Gavin Higgins, front row, Sam Batwell, Josh Adams, row 2. As we're back to the green flag, back underway, the kicking the tires machine off Frankenfield going to lead the way into turns number 1 and 2. Josh Adams looking 3 wide already. I don't think that's going to end well.
Oh, might be 4.
Oh, man. Please don't go 4. Please don't do 4. That's going to be crazy. Chris Wright down through the middle as we're under caution. Jesse Racimus looks like, well, a lot of cars got involved in this one. Take a look, see what just happened.
Grunberg had to check up. Kind of see his nose dives. Just gets in the back of him. Jeff Green into the back of him. Seth rolls around.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird one, Dave.
Trying to get a better view for you.
Yeah, as race control, I'm gonna call that a racing deal. If I'm honest with you, Dave.
Is that one of your concertina thingies?
That was definitely a concertina effect. So concertina effect, Dave, going to be ruled as a racing deal.
That gives you an idea where there really isn't much you can do about it, because if you say that Jeff Green made the contact to send Jesse around, you can see what he sees.
So there was contact up ahead. Jeff was just about getting pushed from behind there. I believe that was JP Phillips just behind him. And everyone just stacks up. There's no real time to react to something like that. And unless there's somebody clearly at fault, it's better off just going with the racing deal and rolling with it that way. So everyone should be A-okay. A couple drivers did come down pit road for some repairs, but Chad Frankfield leading the way. I don't know about you, Dave, but what I saw from Josh Adams on that last restart, I don't think he's staying in second for long.
Nope, and we got it. Everybody's been down pit lane now. Most everybody came down on lap 78, it looks like. Chad came on 47, and Sam Batwell on 48. Gavin Higgins, lap 25. He has the tires on track.
And it shows. He restarted second. He's all the way back in that 5th spot. So row number 3, already lost a handful of positions. As Fred, the pace car driver, is off. We're going to hand it back to Barney, the flag man, this time as we work our way through turns number 3 and 4. Chad Frankfield, Josh Adams, Sam Batwell, the top 3 as we're back underway. The Little Eagle Racing number 15 machine got off to a great jump there, but Josh Adams, I think he honestly just has the better truck here tonight. He's had some great pace all throughout, pretty much dominated this race thus far, and he's already looking to try to get by Chad Frankenfield. I'm going to give him about 2 laps before the bumper comes into play, even just a little bit. Well, maybe not even 2 laps, maybe a couple hundred yards, as well, caution's out, so it doesn't matter anymore. James Miller going to be involved in this one. Gerald Campbell, James Miller looking like the 2 involved. Let's take a look. James on the bottom.
Too wide. Gerald in the middle.
It's a monkey in the middle moment there. Gerald Campbell. If you watch that one from up above, Dave, if you have an upper camera, Gerald's car or his truck kind of steps out in the middle. James also takes a really weird adjustment to that line, and I don't know. So Gerald slides up a bit. He's got the 57 behind him. James's truck was on the bottom, but kind of comes up here. You could see the tires separating from that bottom line. That's really tight.
I don't have a good behind view back to up.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Because Jeff kind of slows up a little bit ahead of these guys too to check up for the corner. James comes up like an eighth of the lane. Gerald comes down a little bit too. I'm going to call that one a racing deal as well. Honestly, I don't see anyone fully at fault. That's a bit of one of those domino effect sort of deals. So nobody clearly at fault for that incident.
See, Gerald kind of gets into the car,
Gerald
truck on the outside of
does.
him. Yeah.
Gerald does, but now here, Gerald doesn't necessarily have the space either to fully make that corner because JP Phillips also coming down. Gerald comes down a bit. James comes up a little bit. So it's like
three into
three
two.
Kind of, that's it. 3 into 2 lanes, and these 2 lanes are tight as well. So yeah, that's a racing deal. Some might say it could go one way or the other. I kind of see it going 3 different ways as well. So racing deal. I'm race control. I can make that call.
Scott Crump put the tally on the 09. So
is that what you're saying, Crump?
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Scott.
No, Scott, I see it too. I see that. I see Gerald with a bit of fault. I see JP Phillips with some fault too. So racing deal is what it is. We're going green this time. Chad Frankfield, Josh Adams, Matt Gruenberg, Chris Wright, Sam Batwell, the top 5. Gavin Higgins there as well. As we're backing away, Chad Frankenfield going to get out to the race lead. Scott, you're watching in the YouTube chat. How long till the chrome horns used here from the Josh Adams machine? Because he's going to try to stay ahead of Matt Gruenberg. As Gruenberg up top, Adams on the bottom. Adams closes in on Frankenfield. Whoa, Gruenberg steps out a little bit. He gathers it back up as Adams there right behind Chad. Once again, Chris Wright to the inside of Matt Gruenberg. Wright slides up almost into the left rear there of Gruenberg. These drivers absolutely pushing it at this point as Adams and Frankenfield. There's the horn. I told you it was coming as he dives to the inside. Now Frankenfield side by side for the lead. Adams out to the top spot. Frankenfield looking for a crossover. He goes down to the bottom. Adams going to close that door. Josh Adams, your race leader once again, coming to lap number 99. Frankenfield dives it in deep.
Oh,
he
too
slides
deep.
up. Frankenfield. That's going to be tally 2 for Frankenfield. He's done. Wow. So tally issue to the 15 of Frankenfield. And Dave, can we go back to when Adams passed Frankenfield? Is that possible?
Sure. Give me a second here.
Because Chad is saying that Josh drove through him to make that pass, and I don't see that.
Here we are.
I see the chrome horn coming into play.
Yeah, a little bump there. Not bad.
Little bump. Chad gets a little unsettled. You can see the nose kind of step out to the left.
But then
Moves
he's
him
off
up
of
the
it.
racetrack. I don't see him driving through him, honestly. I really don't. I see that as racing for the lead.
Yeah, I see that all the time.
And then we saw the aggression out of Frankfield. There's no doubting that. But just an update here. Chad Frankfield has been parked for the evening. Second tally. No appeal has been issued by the 15, which is probably a first as well.
Yeah, Chad just chose to send it in here, and that's not in old tires. That's not going to hold.
There was only.
Oh.
It is now under appeal.
He's saying the net code is the contact between him. Okay, go back to right here. That camera angle holds. We might.
Chris Wright stirring it up a little bit.
Stir. I think a lot of times we say, though, even though the net code may have been the initial contact, he would have hit him anyway.
Oh, he 100% would have hit him.
He was sliding up the track. He was not going to stop before he hit him.
If that wasn't the intent, I would be shocked.
Back to green.
I'm into green.
One more time, just for fun. He's down on the yellow, and then that's a.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the ruling on that one as we're back on our way. Oh, I was like, how is Marco Bilas leading the race? I was impressed. Josh Adams, Matt Grunberg, Chris Wright, the top three. So Chad has appealed, folks. He's back out on the racetrack as
hunting for Josh.
Well, that's what Chris Wright told him to do. But Chris Wright, known for being a bit of a pot stirrer, as out front, Josh Adams leads the way, 46 laps to go. Jeff Green's done a really nice job up to that 5th spot. Joe Francis, Gerald Campbell up there as well. Gavin Higgins. This is what Gavin needs, is to stay really close with Matt Gruenberg as they battle it out for that regular season title. Chris Wright getting a little loose there as he dove it through the corner. Oh, that's 3 wide. Frank Fody, Tom Bourne, Joe Francis. We're going to stay green. Whew. Frank Fody absolutely throwing it in there. So Chad Frankenfield currently scored 1 lap down, by the way, folks.
Oh, there we go. It was just delayed.
Frank Fody gonna go around. We knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming. I read the script.
We'll take a look, see what happened at that one on the Robotless replay machine. I think Frank might come up here on that 35 of Francis. We'll take a couple ganders and see what we see. You tell us what you see as well. So watching the 41 of Fody on the bottom, Francis running the middle lane here.
Yeah, that looks like maybe 35 came down a little bit.
Yeah, 35 definitely coming down into the side of that 41.
Here.
So they had a great 3-wide battle, and as soon as that cleared, essentially, is when things just went a little crazy.
The 35, by the way. There you go. You guys can't hear Robert correcting himself on the sparing you that. Lap 111 of 150. Of course, one of our other elite sponsors is 4D Racewear. 4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D sim racing shoes are custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, and still provide all the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the original racing gloves for your. I think the only other sponsor I haven't read tonight is Worldwide Technology. Worldwide Technology is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of St. Louis, Missouri. The quarter-mile drag strip. They have a 2-mile infield road course and a 1.25-mile oval. Who has all sorts of events. They're, I believe, done for the year, but they're, as you saw from the ads, are ramping up for quite a 2025 season. Really up their involvement with NASCAR and, of course, IndyCar and NHRA will be back as well.
And Dave, you forgot my favorite part of Worldwide Technology Raceway.
The Kartplex?
That is the state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex, yes.
And that is fun to watch during events when nothing's going on the track. There's always people out there karting, and those people can get
That's
pretty
pretty cool.
wild.
Go-karts are sweet, and speaking of sweet, Stafford, pretty sweet as well. As we're backing our way, battles on for the top spot. Josh Adams, Chris Wright, as you see side by side as well. We'll get it all in this camera shot. There's Jeff Green, Gavin Higgins there. Josh Adams going to clear ahead of Chris Wright. Jeff Green trying to get clear of Gavin Higgins. Gerald Campbell down on the bottom, just behind them as well. JP Phillips, Dylan Javier. Javier going to have to check up a bit as Gavin Higgins slots back into that 6th spot. Oh, things are getting a bit crazy there. JP Phillips on the bottom, nearly into the side, and Neil Rutt. Rutt having a really good run here tonight. Neil Rutt started back in the 29th position. He's up 20 spots on the day, up to position number 9, looking for that 8th spot as he battles with JP Phillips. Phillips has the advantage, though, on the bottom, as we are 36 laps to go here at Stafford. By the way, under that last caution, oh, Frank Foti, Chad Frankenfield just had a moment. Both drivers just went off the racetrack. I'll go back and take a look at that one.
Like Frank gets loose and gets in the outside wall and then just comes across in front of Chad.
Yeah.
Both kept on going.
Tally going to be issued
Caution
to
now.
Frank Foti just for the reason that some damage was caused in that one. And
Batwell.
Sam Boutwell going to be involved in this one. Is this a solo spin, or does he have help from behind and Connor Thompson? Again, we kind of get some indicators with how these are tagged, and that's an easy call. Sam Boutwell going to pick up a tally on that one. Solo spin.
Does a nice job staying put. A lot of times, guys don't stay put until everybody gets by them before they cause other parts of the accident. Yep.
I 100% agree with that. A lot of drivers not very good at holding their brakes, and leads to a lot of extra chaos we don't need.
And from what I understand, iRacing pretty much locks the field in anyway at that time the caution comes out. So
it does. You'll see drivers, they'll see someone spinning, caution not necessarily displayed right away. They'll hammer down on the gas trying to get by, and sometimes that leads to extra damage and stuff we don't really need. So when a driver holds their brakes down, honestly, it might seem like a very easy task, but some drivers struggle with easy tasks.
I believe driver chat. Chad said park him. Chad said park him.
Yeah, so Chad has opted to park. I think he might have taken a look back at the incident and actually realized what happened. But
now negotiating to overturn the tally if
Yeah.
if there is intent wreck on the track. Come on, Chad. If you intent wreck, you get 2 weeks off.
Yeah, he'd get a vacation.
Yeah.
Oh man,
This is one of those nights where there's a whole nother show going on that you guys can't hear.
Yeah, so you know what?
There's a reason you can't hear it.
Yeah.
So Chris Wright out front now.
Yeah, Chris is out there with Josh Adams, Matt Kroonberg, Jeff Green, Gerald Campbell, the top 5, Gavin Higgins, Dylan Avere, JP Phillips, Tom Bourne, and Joe Francis, the top 10.
And if Chris is lobbying to get somebody to wreck Josh, I mean, he's in the perfect spot to do it. All right, we are back to green.
Back to green, Josh Adams with a good jump there. Groomberg right, going to be side by side. Groomberg left, Chris right. As now Chris going to fall back to third. I had to throw that in there. As Gerald Campbell going to get passed by Jeff Green. Green up to the 4th spot. Campbell back to 5th. Dylan Avere side by side with Gavin Higgins as they make a little bit of contact there.
Yeah, I thought they were moving around a little bit.
Yeah, Dylan was definitely moving there, Dave. I thought, well, yeah, there we go. Michael Hossack, Jesse Racimus. Let's take a look, see what just happened here on the Robilos Photography Replay Machine.
Okay, there, and then, like, can't tell if Hossack got into the back of Racimus or if Racimus. We can get a better angle here. Looks like he may have had a little help.
So this is another one of those kind of concertina effects because Racimus has an issue there. He bobbles, gathers it up. Then he gets up ahead of Hossack through the corner. Hossack gets into the back of him, sends him around, and that puts us under caution once again.
Yeah, I think the only difference I would have on that is that, I mean, Jesse isn't checking up for anybody else. He's checking up for himself, I guess, or he's getting loose.
I'm just taking a quick look at a potential lane change as well on the restart. Ooh.
That was on the they were asking about for that.
Yeah, and he does have some pretty distinct motion moving down. I just don't know if it... No, he definitely does, but is he gone before the line?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He's a whole truck length down before the line. Not far before the line, but just enough.
Yeah, so EOL penalty going to be issued to Gavin Higgins. He's going to have to go to the rear of the field. Lane change before the start-finish line.
Caution number 11.
Caution number 11, like you said there, Dave. We're going to be restarting with Less than 20 laps remaining in this one. That sucks for Gavin Higgins, but at the same time, that is
The rule
the
is
old
the rule.
saying of control the controllables when it comes to title fights, and he can control that. He's the one that made the decision to move down, and kind of going to slap him in the face there for that one. As we're going to restart with 20 laps to go. Josh Adams, Matt Grunberg, that's your front row. Chris Wright, Jeff Green, row 2. Gerald Campbell, Dylan Avere, row 3. Tom Bourne, JP Phillips, row 4. Joe Francis, Jaden Racimus, the top 10, coming to 20 laps to go. Good recovery for Jaden there as we're back underway here at Stafford. This is one of the most closely contested restarts we've seen here so far, as Josh Adams still has Matt Grunberg to his outside. Adams not quite clear yet. Now he clears Grunberg. Will he move up? He can't, because Grunberg gets that bit of bite there through turns number 3 and 4. Now Grunberg falls back into the clutches here of Chris Wright. Josh Adams going to clear, so Grunberg, Wright, side by side. 19 laps to go. Jeff Green just behind them. But out front, Josh Adams doing exactly what he's done all night long, and that is be the dominant truck, the car to beat here from the drop of the green flag to now 18 laps to go. As James Miller going to have an issue. Caution not displayed yet. Mark Rabilis also having a bit of a crash there. Jaden Racimus is going to go around, and the caution going to be displayed here. So we'll take a look, see what just happened to Jaden Racimus to put us under yellow once again.
Sideways.
Oh no, solo spin for Racimus. Did he have help going into that, Dave, or was that completely just the one losing it? I think it was. Yeah, it was just the one losing it.
Yeah, he's all by himself.
And I believe that's going to be Jaden's second of the night as well. Yes, it will.
No contact with anybody else. Thank you. The one that didn't cause the caution.
I don't know how this didn't cause the caution. Oh, this
I guess,
is the same
yeah, okay,
one.
this is Racimus had already caused the caution. This was after.
This is the same one. Okay.
Yeah.
This
was after what we had watched before.
Backward. Yeah, so let's take a look at this one.
I think the 30's trying to get out of the way.
Yeah,
Comes up into the
not
herd.
much they could have done there. So that'll be the second tally of the night for Jaden Racimus. He has been asked to report to pit lane. His night is unfortunately over, and he was having a great run. He was inside the top 10, and unfortunately it just stepped out on him late here in the running, and Jaden Racimus out of this one with just over 10 laps to go. So that's now 3 drivers that have picked up 2 tallies here this afternoon. Austin and Abnett, Jaden Racimus, and Chad Frankenfield all picking up 2. Of course, Frankenfield has 1 under appeal, but we'll see how that one goes in the process. As we are 1 to green, you can see there Josh Adams opting to take the inside lane. Chris Wright to his high side. Matt Grunberg, Jeff Green, Gerald Campbell going to be the rest of that top 5. Dylan Javier having one of his strongest runs up into that 6th spot as well. We'll see if he's able to close it out, maybe with a top 5 finish, or potentially even contending for that victory as Fred, the pace car driver, heads back down to Bedrock, also known as Pit Road. We're going to hand it over to Barney, the flag man, As we come back to the green flag, Josh Adams already on the loud pedal as soon as he hit that restart zone, and he's gone. He's going to lead the way here down the backstretch for the first time on the restart. Matt Grunberg on the inside, Chris Wright up top. Gerald Campbell, Jeff Green, door to door there as well. We'll see if we can potentially get a decent run to the finish. It's going to be 10 to go next time.
Caution.
Bye. Never mind. Connor Thompson going to be involved in that one. I jinxed it, man, didn't I?
Yeah.
Richie Hearn, Connor Thompson, Neil Rutt involved in this one. So we'll take a look and see what happened. Ooh. So that was contact there between Connor Thompson and the Neil Rutt machine. Let's see what happened there between these guys.
I don't see any reason for.
I'm watching his miles per hour here to see. There's no real fluctuation.
He didn't get into the wall.
No, Rutt just gets into the back of Connor Thompson there. Makes a bit of contact, sends him around. So tally going to be issued to Neil Rutt.
But he's saying he was checking up. Watch it in real time.
Where's Seth?
25 down low. Or, yeah, who's he?
Seth is way up the road. No.
The green and white truck is.
No, Seth is that blue truck on the bottom ahead of the green and white truck. That's Jordan McAvoy in the green truck. There's nobody ahead of these guys.
Yeah.
No, we'll go with what we got.
Thirteenth caution. 7 laps to go now.
13 cautions, like you said. And I think, you know what happened there, Dave, is I believe on the back of the Connor Thompson machine might be Seth Rawls Designs, because that is a Shift Esports car. And I think that's what Neil Rutt saw. No, it doesn't say Seth Rawls Designs. But there's a Shift Esports logo on there anyways. So I'm thinking that's kind of what Neil saw was Shift Esports and just assumed it was Seth. So it is what it is. We're coming back to the green flag. Josh Adams, Matt Grunberg, Chris Wright once again will be green with 5 laps to go. Adams and Grunberg have been the 2 best trucks here tonight. Jeff Green, though, and Chris Wright, these guys have had really, really solid evenings, and Gerald's going to be as aggressive as he needs to get up here as well. As we come off of 4, pace cars off, green flags out, racing's underway. We're back here as Josh Adams getting absolutely pummeled from behind there by Chris Wright. Matt Hackathorn, I think, just had a moment.
Caution.
Yeah, he did. Caution's out once again. And actually, I stand corrected. There's Connor Thompson, Michael Hosick. He's not happy either, so. So Sam Boutwell.
59.
Out by Michael Hosick. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, the 59 just sent it into the corner.
Yeah.
That
starts it right there.
That's gonna be an easy one. Yeah, that'll be a tally on the 59 of Caleb Pecumer. That will be his first tally of the afternoon.
Where else it tagged Connor? Stopping. Ooh.
Yeah, Connor Thompson gets collected in that. And it's not a good incident there, as we'll ride on board with Connor Thompson, the Shift Esports driver. As you see the smoke up ahead, that was not great. What I saw there, Dave, was it looked like Connor kind of just drove into the incident. But I'm going to have to take another little peek here. No, he didn't. Okay. What I just did is I went back and watched. What I saw from the in-car was the Connor Thompson machine did try to slow up for the incident and just slid into it. So not much Connor could have done differently there. Too many trucks around him, not enough time to slow up. But we are 1 to green, and this will be green-white checkered attempt number 1 of a potential 3 that we have available to us this evening. So Josh Adams, Matt Grunberg, Chris Wright, Gerald Campbell, the top 4 now. So Gerald going to be working that high lane here. He's probably going to lay the bumper on Matt Grunberg to try to clear him of Josh Adams and potentially set himself up for a 3-wide moment. As the pace car's off, we're coming back to the green flag this time. Adams bottom, Grunberg top, Wright and Campbell behind them as we are green. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps to go. Matt Grunberg with a great jump there as well.
Caution.
He's going to be battling it out, as that doesn't matter anymore. Caution flag is displayed once again. Who was in this one? Gavin Higgins was in this one. Well, oh no. He gets collected.
By the 59.
59.
Hey, we have
Caleb
a serial killer there.
But did Caleb have enough time to check up for that?
Yeah, because he jumped into his lane.
I would say so. I'm going to take a couple looks at this one. Just because it's tough with Gavin coming down. Yeah, I'm going to have to put that on the 59.
Might appeal that one.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what he opts to do. Again, there's kind of that potential that it could go either way in the flip of the admins.
Caution number 15.
Yeah, caution 15, and Caleb Pecumer has taken it to pit road. So what could still happen, Dave, is he could go down pit road, take a quick look at the incident, and decide to appeal it. So that is possible, but not a lot of time to do so. As Pecumer pulls it into his box, looks like night over for the 59 of Pecumer. Caution 15, like you said. Green-white checkered number 2 coming up here in just a moment. Josh Adams, Matt Grunberg, Chris Wright, Gerald Campbell, Jeff Green, the top 5. Tom Bourne, Joe Francis, Dylan Avere, Seth Rawls, and JP Phillips, the rest of the top 10. As Lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car. We'll come back to the green flag this time by. Josh definitely has the truck to beat here, but if Gruenberg gets a bit of help from behind, gets a bit of a launch off of the line to get by Josh Adams, I think he's going to be tough to beat. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Pace car's off. We're working our way through turns number 3 and 4 now. Headed off at turn number 4. Adams bottom, Gruenberg top. We are green flag racing once again. Back underway at Stafford. Let's see if we keep it clean, keep it green this time. Adams going to clear ahead of Gruenberg. Gruenberg there in second. Chris Wright just behind him. Gruenberg sends it right, sends it into the back of Matt Gruenberg. Will we see white? Will we see yellow? And it's going to be the white flag brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. 1 lap to go here on the Elite Racing Network. Josh Adams down the backstretch. Matt Gruenberg, Chris Wright giving chase as we come through 3 and 4 for the final time. Gruenberg with a full send on the bottom. Off of turn number 4. Checkered flag. It's Josh Adams. Adams takes victory ahead of Matt Gruenberg and Chris Wright. That'll be your top 3. Gerald Campbell, Jeff Green rounding out the top 5 with Tom Bourne, Joe Francis, Dylan Devere, Seth Rawls, and Matt Hackathorn rounding out the field. The top 10 anyways. There's a lot more in the field. And Josh Adams, the Rubbins Racing Motorsports 01. Juicy Spider Studios 01 gonna celebrate victory here as he backs it into the wall at Stafford Motor Speedway. He'll burn it down as we will step away, and when we come back we will talk to your podium finishers, Josh Adams, Matt Gruenberg, and Chris Wright.
Since 2010, race fans have had 3 years burning sellout crowds, 3 years of edge of your seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year. Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to www.raceway.com and lock in your weekend racing and camping packages for as little as $20 down.
We'll do results and then we'll...
All right, we're back.
Hello.
What are we going to do?
We'll look at the race results, Dave.
Okay, let me pull. Fingers crossed they work this week.
Josh Adams won the race, guys.
There
He won.
you go.
Yeah, there we go. Josh Adams takes the victory ahead of Matt Grunberg, Chris Wright, Gerald Campbell, and Jeff Green in the top 5. Tom Bourne, Joe Francis, Dylan Avere, Seth Rawls, Matt Hackthorne in the top 10. It's JP Phillips, Jordan McAvoy, Zach Evans, Neil Rutt, Frank Fody, the top 15, with Jesse Racimus, Alayton Norgard, Richie Hearn, Sam Boutwell, and James Miller, the top 20. As you see the rest of the results on your screen, we're going to go ahead and talk to Chris Wright, driver of the number 8 machine. Hey, Chris, it's Robert up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, boys.
It's a little weird doing it this way, buddy, because usually we're calling these races together on Monday night. But great run here tonight. Came home in the 3rd spot. What more did you need to get up there and beat your old boy Josh Adams for that victory?
I think we just needed some green flag laps. The only thing we were doing on those restarts, was just kind of playing bumper cars a little bit. And unless I was willing to just drive down there on the first corner and drive into the back of him and wreck him, there wasn't a pass being made. So we kind of had what we had. Me and Matt kept trading second, and he came out on the winning end of that there. He turned down there real close from the backstretch, and I got into the back of him, but at least it was pretty straight, and I got hit, and everybody kept going. So it's all good. Got a good finish. Should put us in a good point spot heading into Dega 2. We came in above the cut tonight, and that should have done a lot for us.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. I think you should gain probably about 2 spots in points, Chris. Most likely be about 6th after tonight. You should pass Joe Francis and Ty McIntosh for a position there. But looking ahead to Talladega, obviously it's the ultimate crapshoot. Anything can happen there. What's your outlook for that race? You think you can go in there and maybe snipe a victory from these boys?
Well, I think we're going to have to wait and see where the points are at. If we're going in there probably 25 plus, we'll probably just go in there. We'll race, try to win, and see what happens. Try to run at the front the whole time. But if we're in there and it's only 10 or 15 above the cut, we'll probably have to hang out and let things shake out. Maybe let a big wreck happen and take it from there. But I do want to say here real quick, I don't know what we're doing going to a place like this. It's great when you're out here testing by yourself and you could run laps like in practice. I got into that second group, and there was only 5 or 6 of us, so you could make laps. But in the race, we had one run that went over 10 laps, and I mean, you just come to these single lane tracks, and you saw it with Chad and Josh there trying to take each other out. That's the only way you're going to pass. Chad was frustrated, but the only way you were making a pass tonight, if the guy in front of you was at least somewhat able to keep his car underneath him on throttle, was to get into the back of him. So, I mean, that's how you have to race these short tracks, and Chad was upset about that, but I mean, you bring us to these little places like this, and you expect us to be able to race in different lanes. And I mean, you guys saw it tonight. You could not get up off the bottom unless you were way, way fresher tires than the guys you were trying to pass.
And I got to ask you here, Chris, obviously looking ahead to the playoffs as well. This race, I'll agree with you. It definitely wasn't the cleanest of races, but I still think it's got a place on the truck schedule. Just maybe a little bit of fine tuning on it, but nonetheless should be a-okay. But looking at the playoffs, you got Bristol, Charlotte, Nashville, and Las Vegas. Do you have one of those races on your calendar as a race that you really feel like you can go in, get a victory, and set yourself up for a championship run here this season?
I mean, really, I was kind of surprised with how good we were tonight. And now we're going to start eliminating guys who run. We're not going to have Tate and Tyler showing up. Chad showed up tonight, but I think after Talladega, those guys aren't going to be coming down and racing with us. So I think from here on out, I think the guys that kind of ran at the front tonight after Chad was gone, Josh Adams, you got Matt up there, you got Gerald, you got Gavin, myself. You saw Tom kind of sneak his way up through there. So I think those are the guys. Jeff Green, can't leave out Jeff Green there. He ran around me a lot tonight. So I think that group you saw at the front tonight is who you're going to see at the front through all these tracks, and it's just going to be about you go to a place like Bristol and Richmond, probably going to look a little bit like tonight, but you go to Nashville, you go to Las Vegas, we're going to get to do some racing and some tire saving and whatnot. So, we got a lot of different kind of racing that we're going to see here in the playoffs with some different guys that maybe some guys aren't used to running up front. You're used to tuning in and seeing Tate Lytle, Tyler Fody, and those boys, and throughout the rest of this season here in the trucks, you're not going to see those guys.
And Chris, before we let you go here this evening, any sponsors you want to thank, shout outs you want to give, people that put that A truck on the racetrack each and every week?
Yeah, first and foremost, want to give a shout out to everybody at Lake Norman, Tyler Fody on down. Tyler's in here in our Discord tonight, giving us information, telling us what he thinks based on where we're at, what we're doing, and what's going on. And everybody at Blue Egg Marketing, they do a lot for Lake Norman and the whole Elite Racing Series as a whole. They're one of our big partners here. So everybody over there, JD Designs, John Cutlip designs all the Lake Norman trucks, and of course everybody at Elite Racing Network, you and Dave and all these boys keeping us in line, especially Dave. Dave's got a lot on his plate here, having to keep track of all of us. So everybody that helps make this happen, this broadcast happen, this league happen. Can't forget Chad there. I know Chad was racing tonight, but he still does a lot through the week and whatnot for everybody here at Elite. So hopefully we get to see a little bit more green flag racing moving forward here the rest of the season, and hopefully it's a good race next week at Talladega.
Well, congratulations on the podium run here tonight, Chris, and we'll see you up here in the booth tomorrow night.
All right, thanks, boys. I'll be there, Robert.
Hopefully you're on time. See you, buddy. That was Chris Wright, driver of the number 8 machine. Now we're going to go ahead and talk to our race winner, Josh Adams. Josh, you got it done here tonight. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, it was very unexpected for me. I wasn't very good in practice, and then I tried something with my brake bias and qualified on the pole by almost a tenth. And we ended up having the elite race breakout with all the cautions at the end, but we had a couple pretty decent sized runs there as well, and it was really fun when we had those runs, and I was really pleased that I was able to drive away and kind of put it to them on those runs.
Now, obviously, yes, we had a fair amount of cautions here tonight, actually about 50% caution rate, but you still had this racetrack really figured out. What is it about Stafford and these short tracks that work quite well for that 0-1 team?
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily anything about Stafford particularly. I think the one thing that I was telling my teammate Donald Kite is, and Nick Massey, is I probably attributed that tonight to when the SRX cars came out. Stafford was one of the first tracks that those ran at, and then I ran a shit ton of those races at all of these kind of half-mile tracks.
Chad done
For 6 or 7 weeks in a row, and I feel like I got really pretty good at that, and this truck seemed to drive kind of similar to that SRX car tonight.
Now, Dave mentioned a Chad ton instead of the other adjective used there earlier.
That's what he meant to say, because I don't want to go back and edit this. So that's what he meant to say.
That's what you meant to say. That's right. That's right. But why don't you walk us through that incident that you had with the 15 at Frankenfield that kind of got a little bit heated there? Obviously, you laid the bumper to the back of the Kicking the Tires machine, and that was paid back maybe a little bit extra.
Yeah, I don't think anything was necessarily heated. Like, he was upset, and I get it. You never want to get moved, especially for the lead. But Chad was on older tires at that point. I had Matt and Chris bearing down my back with the same tires as me, and I gotta go forward to be able to keep those guys behind me. And I feel like what I did with Chad was very clean. I got on him, I moved him square, moved him up the track a little bit. He didn't even get sideways. But I mean, I've raced with Chad in this since 2018. He knows what kind of driver I am. He knows I'm probably one of the cleaner drivers that we have out here, and I always race him with a lot of respect, and I know he'll do the same for me going forward. It's just we were short track racing tonight, and I'm going for points.
That's right. Short track racing and that stuff's going to happen. But before we get to your sponsors and the people behind you here this evening, let's talk about your sponsor, Juicy Spider Studios, on board that 0-1 machine. It was announced this week that they'll be coming on board as the official sponsor of the Truck Series for 2025. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about them and the people behind that group?
Yeah, they do a lot of different graphic design and video editing and stuff just kind of in that realm, paint schemes, all that stuff. If you kind of want an example of anything they've done, you can go look at some of Kwame Scott's intro stuff for his Contender series next season. They did some video edits for him that are really cool. So I think Chad said last week that one of the big things we're missing is like a graphic design person or team or something around Elite, and that acquisition could be just what Chad was wanting, and he probably didn't even know what he was getting when they first signed on.
Well, we're definitely excited to have them. Josh, before we let you go, tell us about any other partners you got, the people behind you, your team, everyone that makes it happen for the 0-1 team each and every week.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Mike and Nick, Drunken Spider, and Sir Juicy Carl. Those are the two guys that, for the most part, make the sponsor deal go around. So I thank them for putting their name and colors on my truck. And you guys do a great job in the broadcast. Robert, you doing double duty with the race control, did a solid job giving out a bunch of tallies tonight, so we thank you for that. My teammate Donald Kite, he gave me the brake bias adjustment I think that I needed before the race. So, and then just all the competitors tonight. That was we had a lot of cautions like you said, but that was one of the cleaner short track races I feel like we've done in a while.
Well, Josh, congratulations on the victory here this evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night in the Whiplash Photography Grand National Series.
Thank you.
Well, Dave, that is your podium finishers tonight. Unfortunately, we will not be able to catch up with Matt Gruenberg. But before we head off for the evening, any final thoughts from you after what was a wild race here at Stafford Motor Speedway?
No, I agree with Josh. I know we did have a lot of cautions, but it didn't feel like some of those caution fests that we've had in other races. It felt pretty competitive out there, and it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You come into some of these tracks expecting a decent amount of cautions, and we still got 75 to 80 laps of green flag racing, which is perfectly fine. You still get yourself a good race. Only an hour and 12 minutes as well of race time, so pretty darn quick for these guys. Great battles between Josh, Matt, Chris, Gerald, Jeff Green, Chad Frankenfield as well. These guys all had a good run here tonight. It was exciting to see, and obviously it was mentioned in the pre-race that we're off next week. So we'll be back November the 10th at the Talladega Super Speedway. That'll be the regular season finale, the Laughing Llama Raps 225. That is quite the name for a race. I'm excited for that one, but be sure to tune back into the Elite Racing Network tomorrow night. It's the Atlanta 250 from the Atlanta Motor Speedway, 163 laps there in the Whiplash Photography Grand National Series regular season finale. So we'll set the field for the playoffs. And then, of course, coming up Wednesday night, Dave, you'll be back with Dave Huckleberry. Or you are Dave Huckleberry.
I'm always with me.
You'll be back with Dave Westergreen and Zach Evans at Mid-Ohio to kick off the playoffs. So it's going to be a little bit wild with that one. And IndyCar coming up this week is off. So nothing in IndyCar. So come back tomorrow, come back Wednesday. We got lots of great action here on the Elite Racing Network. But on behalf of Dave Huckleberry, I'm Robert Hill Jr. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night.